Time now to head over to the kitchen and see what treat ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher has in store for us today. Judy?
It's the perfect time to start eating healthy and clean. So I have a recipe for a Swiss chard salad. It's slightly warm. It's going to be delicious because we're bringing in some red onions and just a pop of heat with crushed red pepper. So today we're going to start out with a few saute pans, some delicious ingredients, and bring it up a notch with something that's even better for you than yellow raisins, and I'll show you in just a few minutes. So stay with me throughout the hour as I bring you a sauteed Swiss chard salad with some delicious fruits and vegetables and a little bit of crunch. I'll be back in just a few minutes to get started. Okay, let's get started. In a large saute pan, I have a tablespoon of vegetable oil or canola oil. Now you want to wash your greens really well because they do tend to hold in some sand or dirt in the root. So what I do is I soak them first, then I rinse them off. Then once you pat them dry, I'm just going to take that very last part of the stem where the root is and cut that off. And then we're just going to basically just slice this because this is going to start the saute process for what we're going to do. Of course, saving the greens to go in this dish as well. So when we're talking a lot of antioxidants, a lot of good vegetables, and a lot of good flavor. Let's add that to the pan there. And once I hear that sizzle, then I know I can lower the pan just slightly, so about a medium temperature. And we're going to add some thinly sliced red onion, and we're going to let this saute down a bit, okay? Season it with salt and pepper. Now remember, in the end, we're going to add the pecorino romano. That has salt to it in that cheese, so I don't want you to add more than probably just a pinch or two of sea salt or kosher salt. When you start to cook this down, you're going to see everything just starts to turn translucent. We're going to go a few minutes past that. So give it about 6 to 7 minutes. And over here you can see I've already sauteed some. This step you could even do far ahead of time and let it sit at room temperature. So once it's really cooked down, you see those great flavors. What I want you to do is I want you to add some either slivered or chopped fine garlic. Fresh garlic, always important with these vegetables. Bring up the flavors. And again, so this pan, I brought up the heat. This pan, I lowered the heat. Now this is a really fun step. If you're using golden raisins, or what I found, these are golden berries. They're Andean superfruits. So they're going to give you so much more nutrition. They're high in fiber, potassium, and vitamin A. You're going to soak them in a bowl of hot water for 10 to 15 minutes. That reconstitutes the fruit. These are not nearly as sweet as a raisin, which means there's a lot less sugar. So this is really important for somebody that's on a diabetic or an epileptic diet. So let's go ahead and add those delicious golden berries and give it a saute around. Yeah, this is coming along really well. Whoops. Let's get that on your back. Now in a separate pan, I already toasted some pine nuts. So you just want to either put them in the oven, or for me, I didn't feel like turning the oven on. So it's just a quick saute pan, and then you can use the same saute pan for what we're doing over here. So what we want to do now is we want to re-season with a little salt and pepper. And then we're going to add some lemon juice, and that's going to give us the acid. And when we come back, let's add the greens, toss it around, season it up some more, and get ready for a great dish served. So look at this, the red onions totally melted down with the stalks of the Swiss chard, that nice bright red color. Now let's take those toasted pine nuts and sprinkle those in. And then we're going to start to add the leaf part of this Swiss chard. Now you can do this with something like kale as well. I think it's a prettier salad when you use the Swiss chard, and I don't like to overdo kale at home because, you know, I put it in my smoothies and I make a kale Caesar, so it's just nice to shake this up. If you wanted to put some protein with it, a nice piece of grilled salmon or even poached eggs on top would be just delicious. So we're going to wilt down the Swiss chard. We're going to add some crushed red pepper. And besides the hit of lemon juice, we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to add some zest of lemon as this cooks down. Again, for a little bit of added flavor. And then as it starts to wilt down a little bit more, we get ready for that delicious Parmesan Reggiano. That's going to give it that really nice bite. For me, this is a great recipe when I want to just have one night off. It be, a vegetarian dish. I think this is really the perfect one. But as I mentioned, even a roasted pork loin would be just perfect with this dish. Now remember, even when we're done cooking it, the greens are going to wilt a little bit more as we're going to plate. So we want to make sure that we don't overcook it, but you really got to work that bottom there where those delicious fruits are and the base of the dish. So there, we've mixed that in well. Now it's time for the cheese. And we want to do the cheese right at the end. We really don't want the cheese to cook, but we just want to get it tossed in there, pull it off the burner, and then let's add some fresh chopped parsley. You could certainly use cilantro. Now, cilantro is another ingredient that's an anti-inflammatory. So I personally love cilantro, but it's something that you can often switch out instead of parsley. So look at this. Oh, this is just delish, and I'm gonna put it right here on the plate. And for me, I'm gonna call this one healthy, tasteful lunch. We've got the crunch of the pine nuts. We have the sweetness, but not too sweet, of the berries. And then we have a little bite from the red onions, little acid. You could use a splash of red wine vinegar if you wanted to, but just like this is going to be really awesome. I can't wait to give everybody a taste, so stay with me. I'll be coming back and I'll tell you where you can find the recipe and so much more in just a few minutes. Welcome back. So we have this delicious red Swiss chard salad. I have the pecorino parmesan tossed into it. We use the stems. We use the whole green, which is really important in cooking. Sauteed red onions, pine nuts, some parsley or cilantro, and it brings it all together with my new find. Instead of golden raisins, this is going to be a lot healthier for you. And I found this over at the Fresh Market. They're golden berries, and they're called Andean superfruits. So again, not as sweet, a great salad to have if you're a diabetic or an epileptic and you're looking to cut down on your sugars. This is a really good one. If you want to find this recipe, so much more, log on to mysuncoast.com, click on that dining button, and you're going to get to see the recipe videos. Log in and see the restaurant partners that we're involved with, and soon you'll get to find out how you can win a dining gift certificate. Back to you guys.